Hey, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. This is your friend Sachin Rakra, and welcome to our channel Router and Switches Concepts. If you had not subscribed our channel, please hit subscribe button and click the notification bell icon with all. Today we will look into some of the options and some of the new concept which some of my subscriber has told me to prepare a video, so we are preparing this. So today's topic is basically the difference between VRRP and HSRP. So VRRP and HSRP concept wise, it's almost same. Both are redundancy protocols which give us a redundancy in our network actually. So the basic theoretical differences, if you can say, it's VRRP is a open standard protocol, and whereas HSRP is a Cisco proprietary protocol, and just HSRP used 2281 the RFCs, and if you want to go into deep that particular part, and whereas VRRP is 3768, the RFC number is that actually. So in VRRP we can use virtual IP as a physical IP also. So whereas in HSRP we can't. We have to use three IP addresses if you want to configure HSRP between two routers or two devices. Whereas in VRRP we can work with two IPs also. So we can save some IP space if you are using VRRP in your environment. And the terminology wise, in VRRP we called master one will be the master router, and all other router will be uh, known as or called as a backup routers, whereas in HSRP1 the primary router or first router is known as a master router, and uh, one is secondary router, and rest of the router are basically a listening routers. In both protocols you can do the failover while tracking the interfaces or the other stuffs which is available in tracking options. Okay, so in VRRP is running on IP protocol number 112, which is specifically for VRRP, and it uses the multicast IP address that is 224.0.0.18, whereas in HSRP, the HSRP version 1 use 224.0.0.2, whereas 224.0.0.102 is being used for version 2 actually. So I will explain some of the features actually. We'll compare the difference between VRRP and HSRP in this particular lab, which is available right now or shown in the diagram. So what we will do, we will create two VLANs actually. One is VLAN 10 for the VRRP lab. So VRRP lab will create a VLAN 10 here, and this host is basically um, having a gateway pointed towards 10.1, okay, which will be a virtual IP, and we'll see how we can save that physical IP stuff in VRRP lab. Okay, and the other part will create a VLAN 20 for HSRP, and again it will be created here on both the devices, and through this particular interfaces it will go into this particular uh, desktop or PC actually. Okay, let's go and start at the configuration on that. Okay, so first we will create a VLAN 10 on the router 1 interface. VLAN 10, what will be the IP? So IP addresses are here. Okay, so IP addresses are here: 192.168.10, sorry, 10.2, 255.255.255.0. So no shit. What else? Okay, for VRRP, in HSRP we use a keyword standby actually. Okay, but in VRRP we use VRRP and the group number and then the virtual IP, whatever virtual IP we have to configure actually. So in this case we are configuring 10.1. Okay, so rest other commands if you want to see I can show you. So no much difference, same thing, print is there, priority is there, shutdown is there, some timer and track is there, authentication is also there. So in print is basically by default it's enabled on VRRP, whereas in HSRP we have to specifically go into and enable that by giving the command. Okay, so we'll give the priority here. Let me show you print. Okay, so this the I just given the priority and print into VLAN 10. You can see print is not showing on the configuration, so that means it is by default enabled. Okay, so let me go and do the configuration on router 2. So IP address will be 192.168 1 dot, sorry, 10 dot what, 3 255.255.250.0, no shut. Okay, what else? VRRP1 IP address. Okay, 192.168.10.1. Okay, and priority is 90. That's it. So for show commands, if you we normally use show standby brief in HSRP and what else, VLAN 10 or 20 whatever. So in HSR in VRRP we have the command lines are almost same actually. VRRP brief if we will give, so it will show you the local priority is 90. Okay, so print is enabled, my state is low backup, and the master router is 2. Okay, so let me go into the brief of the detail of the VRRP. My state is backup, virtual IP is this, virtual MAC is this, advertisement intervals are this, print is enabled, you can see. Okay, priority is 90, master router is 2.2, and the priority of master router is 110, master intervals and other stuffs. Okay, so show VRRP interface VLAN 10. So state is master, virtual address is basically 10.1. There is a virtual MAC address, and the master router is 10.2. State, his own state is basically master, you can see, so it is showing the own, and again on the bracket it is showing local, so that means, and the priority is 10. Okay, so let's go ahead and do a small testing from this VRRP host PC. We'll try to ping the gateway actually, that is 192.168.10.1, correct? Yes, we can reach that. If you can see, we can reach to the gateway. Okay, now we'll see how we can save the IP address. What is the purpose why they are saying that we can use the virtual IP also into the physical IP. So if you see the VLAN 10 configuration, it says my physical interface IP address is 10.2 and my virtual IP address is 10.1. So what I am going to do in this now, I will do the same IP for whatever virtual IP I have. I will sorry, I will use the same IP address. Okay, it allows me to do that. If you see the output, my physical IP is 10.1, my virtual IP is also 10.1. Do show VRRP interface VLAN 10. We can see it says virtual IP and the
master router IP. So in if you notice in my previous output, it was showing 10.2, correct? So now it is showing 10.1. Okay. In router 2 also, if we can check. Okay, so in previous output it was showing the physical IP address of the router 1. Now the physical IP address has been changed to 10.1. So it is showing 10.1 now. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the configuration for HSRP and see whether we can assign same IP address on that or not. So VLAN 20 IP address 1092.160, sorry, 168.20.2, 255.255.255.0, no shut. Standby, we have to give standby to enable HSRP. The keyword is basically standby and the virtual IP is 192.168.168.20.1. I have to give priority on this. I will make secondary and we have to enable the print. Okay, so on the router 2 we'll go interface VLAN 20 IP address 192.168.20.3 subnet mask /24, no shut, standby 1 IP 192.168.20.1, and then the priority should be 110 and the prompt. Okay, show. Okay, so this is the configuration. Show running interface VLAN 20. You can see, and this is the configuration of VLAN 10. So this is the HSRP configuration. You can see it's almost same. Almost, I should say almost same. Only the print it is not showing because print is by default in HSRP it is not enabled, whereas in VRRP it is enabled. So rest of the things you can see, we are giving a virtual IP, we are giving a priority, okay, and we are giving the physical IP address. Okay, let's see the some show commands. Show standby brief. Okay, so let me show you that VLAN 20. So it's almost same actually. The state is active. Okay, one state change. The virtual IP is 20.1 and prompt is enabled. Active router is local. Standby router IP is 2.2, 20.2. Sorry, my mistake. And the variety is 90. Other stuff. Okay, so let me go and check whether we can give the virtual IP address into the physical IP address or not. Okay, so this is the configuration for VLAN 20 as of now. So what we will do, we'll change this IP to 1. Okay, so what it says, 20 is assigned to another application on VLAN 20. So it is not, this is not allowing us to do the configuration, the same IP configuration on the physical interface or that. Okay, so this is the comparison between VRRP and HSRP. For testing purpose, we can go into HSRP and see whether we can HSRP host we can reach into our virtual IP or the gateway. Okay, so this is the basic difference or basic comparison I should say between HSRP and VRRP.
Hope this video is informative to you and it will help you to learn your networking skills. If you had not already subscribed our channel, please hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon for all the notification of our new videos. Thank you.